There's only one Deontay Wilder!
Podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
BoxingVoice.com.
What broke him down? Was it just the body punching? When I was hitting him with body punching, I heard him, actually, he was crying in there. You were saying that Gibbs was crying when you hit him? Yes. When did that happen? And perhaps the fourth round on.
BoxingVoice.com.
So that you knew you had him by that time. Absolutely, but I knew he was tough and taking those punches.
Dazn Productions.
Making women gestures like,
Let's go, champ.
It's the champ. Shannon the champ with the fake champ. Battalion Vitamin Cusco.
BoxingVoice.com.
I'm gonna treat him like he's a C+ fighter. I'm gonna dominate. I'm a dog this fighter.
I'm talking about punishment. We're going to punish you for 12 rounds. Either the referee says you had enough, or you can say you had enough, or you can stay your ass there all night until you ain't had enough.
I feel I'm the best in the sport, and to be the best, you got to beat the best. And all I did was beat opponents. I worked my way from the bottom to the top. I won a title by beating top competition and top fighters. This guy was hands title paper champion.
Do you feel that you're the best super middleweight right now?
100%. Let's go, champ. He can bring the pressure. He can box. I'm a true champion, willing to go to his turf in Atlantic City. I'm going to step on him. I'm going to crush him. Y'all can mark my word to this. I'm going to crush him. He's a C+ fighter. I'm an A+ fighter. Come Saturday night next week, all the fans tune in because I'm going to dominate. This guy is flat-footed, swing wild. I'm not worried about who his trainer is because his trainer can't get in there and fight for him.
Dazn Productions.
BoxingVoice.com. BoxingVoice.com.
Yes. Good morning, TBV, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Boxing Voice Radio. Good morning to all real boxing fans out there joining us at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard, 8 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Eastern, and 2 o'clock UK time. TBV is back. Hashtag TBV podcast, wherever hashtags are used. We're here to discuss Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz 2, the preview. What is at stake in the rematch? So we have some particular questions, specific questions, should I say, that we want to ask each other as hosts, as well as present these questions to the public and, get your answers on it and what you think may take place and why. This is what we'll be discussing. Deontay Wilder, Luis Ortiz, the rematch, what's at stake. And the number to call in, 1-425-569-5241. Press 1 one time. Voice your opinion right here on the Voice of the People hotline. Now, don't forget, you can add Nestor Gibbs on Skype to be part of the conversation. We're going to go out to Indiana for Gross the Boss.
I speak it, believe it, receive it. Speak it, believe it, receive it. Speak it, believe it, receive it. I can't say it enough. I speak it, believe it.
Two attempts, handed bands over. Sicko hit, shot and miss. Two to stand over. Breadwinner, huh? Look who in the building. Let me check my Instagram. I might be at 1 million.
BoxingVoice.com.
Yo, what up to everybody out there in the TBV universe? Back with another one. And yeah, man, we will break down what is on the line for Deontay Wilder in this upcoming fight with Luis Ortiz, a possible Fury rematch, a double-digit title defenses, and we also will look at what's on the line for Luis Ortiz. Like, if he wins, can he possibly throw his name in there for it and try to get a undisputed title shot? So we'll break it down, bring you guys all the great news on that. And, man, let's go ahead and get into it. What's going on, Ness?
What up? Yo, good morning. First and foremost, the inspiration for this came from an article about a month ago that Dan Rayfield and Steve Kim of ESPN did together. where they bounce these questions off one another, really asking each other, I guess the first one, what's at stake for Wilder? What's next if he wins? So, obviously for me, I think that what's at stake, the biggest, most important thing has to be the fact that Undisputed is so close. You know, hardcore boxing fans may look at it differently. Maybe casuals may look at it differently. But realistically speaking, this is the closest we've ever been to a heavyweight unification. So legacy is at stake if he loses to Luis Ortiz. Not only that, but the fact that he would continue to make history. He would not only move his defenses one more defense, but it would be double digits now. So he would be, doing his own rendition of Bernard Hopkins getting 20 title defenses at middleweight. This would be Deontay Wilder with 10 defenses at the heavyweight division. But if he doesn't win, both those things are definitely off the table, and he hits the reset button without a doubt. But what do you think is at stake for Wilder, or rather, what's at stake for Wilder? And I guess we'll get to the second part about what's next.
I want to go back real quick when you said this is the closest we've been to a heavyweight unification fight. Like, what gives you that impression? We've been having a guy that had 3 belts. It's just in a different hand right now. That's about it.
That's the main reason. Just like every other boxing pundit or journalist, blogger, vlogger, YouTuber, we all assume that if Andy can win, we're closer to a unification because it's an in-house fight between Wilder and Ruiz. You know,
we got on here yesterday and like, is it really an in-house fight? Does Andy go back to PBC? Does it happen? Like, if you're got guaranteed money on Dazn, like, why go back to PBC? I don't know if we're
that was a hypothetical conversation yesterday. We don't know if there's any money being offered to Andy. What we do know is that right now he's an Al Heyman, what do you call it, client, or he's represented by Al, so we know that relationship is real. We can go into hypotheticals, and that's cool. I love to do it. I brought this one up yesterday. But that would just be that. The facts are he's with Al. So, yeah, on paper, it seems like it would be easier if Ruiz won. All the belts on one side of the street. Mm-hmm.
And I got to see if Ruiz keep that same energy and really, really go after the fight with Wilder too. Because some guys get these belts, do a homecoming fight, do a volunteer fight, and then maybe look at Wilder 2 or 3 fights down the road. So we could be in the same predicament that we have been in for the past couple of years. But what's on the line for Wilder? One thing that I seen in that story from Dan and Steve was Wilder has to prove that the first knockout wasn't
a fluke. I read that.
I'm like, huh? Like, I didn't know you can knock a guy down twice.
No, but I think what they mean is because that was the highest level knockout up until that point in terms of opposition. And normally in normal weight divisions, we see like a welterweight like Keith Thurman. He got past Diego Chavez, but then it was like no more knockouts. So I think that's what they mean, like prove that your power is real on the elite level. But I think that was just a filler. They needed to add words to this 1,500-word article because we all know his power is real. Kim goes on at the very end of the article to say, let me not even paraphrase. He says he will eventually find a way to land it at some point and stop Ortiz in the middle rounds. No, that's not it. He says, for whatever flaws Wilder might have technically, he possesses the most devastating punch in the sport with his right hand, period. So, like, and look, Steve Kim is not a PBC fanboy. He's a detractor for sure. And to hear him admit, or at least not admit, but categorize Wilder as the biggest puncher in the sport, things have been changing.
I mean, I think guys are just can't deny it anymore, man. We see it over and over again. We see these elite level heavyweights getting knocked out by Wilder, so it's not a far fetched conclusion that he came up with. But as far as the fluke go, man, I just don't see it as being a fluke. He had Ortiz hurt in the 4th round. Ortiz had him hurt in the 7th round. He came back and showed the championship medal and got him out in the 10th or 11th. So I think that is like you said, just a filler for that paragraph. But also what I see in that story was the title defenses. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's coming into his double digits, right? Getting closer to, well, not getting closer, but getting halfway to what Bernard's did. And I just think that's one of the main reasons why I think he wouldn't accept the franchise title. If you got 10 title defenses and they elevate you to where you can't defend your title anymore, then what are we really doing? So I'm glad that he came against the franchise title, and hopefully we can get up to that 15, 16 mark and go from there.
I don't think that we should continue to compare his title defenses with Bernard Hopkins. I think it's unfair. I think if Bernard had 20 title defenses versus 20 heavyweights, he'd be knocked out. We're talking about heavyweights. They carry a different power, and there's a different level of danger, and they last longer. 33 is your prime as a heavyweight, according to some. So obviously what's next for Wilder would be Fury, pay-per-view, big money fight, unification. And that's what's at stake if he lost. So that's what's next if he wins. Fury, big pay-per-view money fight, dual broadcast, Fox Sports pay-per-view, ESPN pay-per-view. Fury's been doing his rounds around the world. He's just been named as the #1 author for whatever book he just released. So he's doing his thing. The pay-per-view seems to be properly being built, but he can't get to that if you lose to Ortiz.
Yeah, and both guys, I guess in the contract that they had 2 fights before the rematch came up, and like Steve Kemp pointed out, it's kind of strange that neither guy chose to get an opponent that resembled the other guy. Mm-hmm. But I guess it is what I mean. I guess Brazil, not really a Fury light, but he's tall. He's about 6'7", 6'8", like Fury. So I mean, but that's probably the closest you can probably go and get to a Fury light. But yeah, man, Fury, man. #1 book in the world, or in the boxing genre, or in sports?
I don't know, man. It's out there. You do a Google search, and Frank Warren even put out a press release.
Well,
let me see what the press release say.
Big ups to Fury, you know what I'm saying? Doing his own Tupac rendition of I Get Around. I hear UFC.
Frank Warren heaps praise on best-selling author Tyson Fury.
What's up, man? I'm glad Fury's doing all this stuff.
#1 in the Amazon best-selling book charts within 24 hours of its release, Behind the Mask, my autobiography tells the story of Britain's #1 sportsman as he defied the odds and went from becoming world heavyweight champion in November 2015 to the brink of suicide.
That's good, man. I'm pretty sure a lot of British people bought that book, and hopefully a lot of Americans did too. But I'm glad to see what Fury's doing, promoting the fight. Seen him on a lot of different outlets here lately. So yeah, man, it's good. I'm hopefully that this fight can get bigger and bigger and bigger, and both guys can do a massive pay-per-view coming in February. But let me go ahead and get to what's big.
So I haven't been able to find exactly where in the story I read, but I wanted to kind of emphasize the point that Dan Rayfield and Steve Kim made it a point to mention that Wilder's getting 10 figures for the Ortiz fight.
10 figures? Guaranteed?
10. They ain't used the word guaranteed. It's in the story, though. Raphael says it.
That's way down here.
10 figgies. That's crazy. All that And people still out here talking about he should have took the deal. So that means he got the 20 from Showtime from Brazil. Now, obviously, this is undisclosed. We'll find out the guarantee once the commission puts it out. But yeah, 10 figures is 10 figures, and 10 figures is 10 million plus.
Yeah. What's on the line for Ortiz though?
I mean, you think that's rightfully so though? Like when you look at a dude like Earl and Pacquiao and them, they doing like they getting anywhere between 2 to 4 guaranteed, but they're welterweights. The fact that you a heavyweight, should that guarantee you another 6 like that, whopping?
I mean, I gotta see how they worded it. You know what I'm saying? To give, I'm trying to find it, Raphael. But I mean, if they think it's good, and I don't know the inside dealings of PBC, but apparently that they feel like Wilder is a more marketable or sellable guy than Pacquiao and Earl. So 10 million, it is what it is. I mean, if he can swing it his direction, then shit, you get what you negotiate, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, while you do that, what's at stake for Ortiz and what could be next for Ortiz? Obviously, for Ortiz is what's at stake is retirement. Another knockout loss to Deontay Wilder at this stage of your career. You probably will be. Go ahead.
Wilder is fearless, and he will be compensated with a 8-figure guarantee. Guarantee 8-figure.
So but it does say 10, or am I I'm telling you, I gotta go get that checked out.
Bro, you know, nigga, 7 figures is $1 million. 8 figures is $10 million.
Yeah, I know. So it doesn't say 10?
It ain't gotta say 10, it say 8 figures.
No, but I thought I read 10. I mean, look, I read it early as hell this morning, but that's sad that I put a 1 and a 0 instead of the 8.
I mean, but you knew it like in your mind subconsciously, like 8 figures is $10 million. That's why you probably did 10 in your mind without even thinking about it.
That's a good co-host trying to help me not look dumb. So for the Ortiz, I think that, like I said, retirement. He's faced with retirement if he gets knocked out again. The same things I said about AJ. You get knocked out, and look, and he's not getting knocked out back to back, but did he look good since losing to Wilder? No. Everybody doesn't even want this fight. Like, Wilder's doing this as a, I got bigger balls than Fury. He fought Schwartz and Wallin. I fought Dominic and Ortiz. But I don't see how Ortiz bounces back from this unless it's a better fight than the first one, because, it wasn't all action.
Yeah, man. Like the Dan said, this is like kind of getting to the end of the road for Ortiz. They say he's 40 now, but I swear the motherfucker been 40 for about 5 years now.
Yo, you ain't lying, bro. Ever since people been calling him old, they've been saying he 39, 40. He been hanging around that age forever.
So yeah, man, he's at the end of the rope, and he kind of needs this win, because if he gets knocked out by Wilder again or loses to Wilder again, like, he probably won't get another title shot from anybody. And I'm just being real. Like, a lot of guys don't want to fight Ortiz. I know Joshua did this year, but things happened to where that fight didn't happen. And Ortiz just needs some kind of signature win on his resume. When you're looking at Ortiz's resume and you think about Brian Jennings, like, that's probably his biggest win today, and we just seen Joe Joyce.
No, that is, bro. And Fox had the nerve to put that on PBC's on their Instagram, bro. Now they can't fucking promote Charlo Harrison, but they put they literally put the year, like, in bold text, like Luis Ortiz biggest win, Brian Jennings. Then they got Kevin Iole and other pundits, in the background talking about it. And it's like, bro, you do realize we're 4 years removed from that fight. Like, you couldn't find nothing else. We couldn't lie about Travis Kaufman. You went back 4 years. Joe Joyce, a prospect, he just beat up Brian Jennings. Like, you got the nerve to talk about Brian. And this is what Wilder should have been paying attention to right here. But look, at the end of the day, I learned this from watching Deontay Wilder fights, especially the Dominic Brazil. Nobody wanted Dominic Brazil. Nobody. Dominic Brazil was the only one that wanted that fight, and nobody wanted Bermane Stiverne for that matter, because there might be someone like, nah, Ness, I wanted Brazil because of the backstory. So cool. Nobody wanted Bermane Stiverne too. But what we do know is that after he knocks you the fuck out, everybody loves it. We love it. We post it on our Instagram. It becomes our, joke at evening dinner. And the fighter becomes a meme. So I'm not happy about this. But Luis Ortiz being 40 and, that means it's harder for him to move. He'll probably be out of there a lot sooner. Now, what we do know is obviously, look, he had a good 7th round. He probably kicked himself in the butt and it's like, yo, if I could have just threw more punches. And that's why he out there training like a welterweight with Coach Larry Wade. Let's see if that's going to change anything. Because I do believe if you bring some sort of high-level activity to Wilder, that will fuck up his game plan until he lands a punch.
Yeah, man. I'm looking at the asset of Coach Larry Wade as being like, maybe it's just a little bit too late. Like, I'm looking at the him bringing him in. Like, why ain't you bringing him in for the Raz Von Cajano fight, for the Kaufman fight, or for the Christian Hammond fight? Why wait till Wilder? Cause like one thing that I always say, man, like you don't want to change it with what you've been doing for one training camp when you bring all these different people in and start doing different shit to what you've been doing for your whole career. And that seems to me like what Ortiz is doing. And I don't know, man. I think Larry Wade's a damn good coach, damn good strength and to get a guy ready. I just don't know if at this stage of his career, Ortiz should be doing all that kind of crazy and extra cardio and things like that, because we don't know how you're gonna how your body's gonna react to it. It could be an adverse reaction to having a new trainer come in. So we'll see, man. I'm just of the mindset that Ortiz needs something traumatic to happen, needs something big to happen to like make his name synonymous with his heavyweight division around this time. If he don't, I just think that after this loss, he'll just fade to the black.
Yeah, man. And obviously, what Ortiz, what could be next for Ortiz is so much, But this might end up being a very good fight because of what's at stake for Ortiz. You got to remember, he let $7 or $8 million slide, plus an opportunity to fight Anthony Joshua. Then he's seen with his own eyes that a dude smaller than him, in worse shape than him, knocked out Anthony Joshua and changed his life. So, again, the decision to bring Coach Larry Wade, I think it's for a multitude of reasons. He's going to come in extra motivated, but he will have to jump on Wilder early. Waiting for the later rounds is only going to make it worse for him. He's older. Wilder has phenomenal stamina. I watch him spar, fresh sparring partner after fresh sparring partner, and never get tired. The confidence of that power allows him to stay very calm in the ring. Don't have to take my word for it. But what's next for Ortiz? Man, the world is his oyster if he beats Wilder. But more than likely, an immediate rematch as the champion. You should have a rematch one-way clause just for facts, or even though they're not considered facts, right? Especially if CYP's listening. Eddie Hearn said he would never let any of his champions go into a fight without a rematch clause. So we would have to assume that Wilder has a rematch clause, especially with a dangerous opponent like Ortiz. So that's what's next, A-side, Andy Ruiz like boss status, and an immediate rematch with Wilder and, 8 to 10 figure paydays.
How does Wilder approach this rematch? I seen that question posted in the article. Does he come out and try to blitzkrieg Ortiz, really make short work of him like he did Brazil, or is he more calm, collected as we've seen him against Ortiz in the
Bruh,
first
man,
fight.
listen, if Wilder was a video game, he would not only be undefeated, but he would have already unified if I was in control, because I've seen things that the average boxing fan don't get to see after being in camp with him for so many years. Like, I would just do body work. I watch him consistently drop sparring partners to the body every fucking training camp, but he doesn't drop nobody to the body in the fight. And that's because he's not as dedicated as in sparring. Like in sparring, it's more like, oh, you hit me, here you go. In the fight, I don't know what is going through his mind, because I'm not there like that, like I am in sparring, and I don't get to talk to him immediately after or immediately before. That being said, though, I would like to see him go out and really put a hurting on Ortiz to the body first round. First round. Now, I know they're opening up to a heavyweight at that. Going to the body is only trouble. You giving up your height and all that good shit. But I'm telling you, I've watched them drill people to the body. They can't take it. If you think he knocked out Stavern with his guard up, I mean, imagine the body. Imagine the body. So I would really like that. I would like him to come out. Gennady Golovkin versus David Lemieux. That jab that Gennady used on Lemieux. Come out with that jab. Nice high guard. Boom. Just throw that jab, piston-like, fucking battering ram. Keep backing him up until you can set the right hand up. Set that right hand up. Loop it to the body, too. I'm telling you. Now, obviously, Ortiz is a southpaw. Maybe throwing that right hand to the body makes it a little easier for him to get countered. No, he could get countered over the jab. So, he's going to be, but that's good too, because he gets to paw at that glove, or he could fucking jab that glove. If you jab it with the power of Wilder, you jab Ortiz's jab arm good enough, his fucking arm might wing back. You know what I'm saying? And then he's open for the straight right. But look, I don't know. I mean, I say all that to say I would love him to jump on Ortiz quick.
Yeah, I would definitely like that too. If you Ortiz, how do you approach trying to get Wilder up out of there? Like what
it's crazy, because I think it's the same thing, right? I think if you're Ortiz, it's the same thing. You know his power carries late. He knocked you out late. He dropped Tyson Fury late. His power carries late. You seen his stamina is unmatched. So jump on him early. Jump on him early. You're in Coach Larry Wade's camp for a reason. Throw 40, 50 punches per round. Make him work. Push him. No one's ever pushed him. No one's ever pushed him. No one's ever pushed him. Someone got to get in there and rough him up. Stay low. If you could be Mike Tyson and fucking duck under the jab, lateral movement, shove his ass into the ropes, and then start pounding. Wilder doesn't really clinch. He likes to high guard, lean back on the ropes. You know what I'm saying? Bruh, it's plenty of time to rip to the body. I see sparring partners hit him to the body, but I warn you, that will upset him. Usually behind an upset comes a knockdown. So, that's on you, but that's the way. That's the way. Keep him on defense. Keep him on defense. Keep him in the high guard. Hopefully he doesn't use it, but he fucking uses it, But yeah, man. I want to. Oh, I'm sorry.
I do believe that if you're Ortiz, you don't want to go 12 rounds with Wilder again. Like, you don't want to go 10 rounds with Wilder again. You want to go out there and dictate the pace. Don't let Wilder sit back and be comfortable in his shell, because, like you said, that power garners Wilder a lot of respect. Sometimes you gotta know, like, if he hit me, I'm gonna be knocked out anyway. So fuck that power. And let me go in and try to disrupt his flow, his tempo, and let me try to push the pace to get him fighting on his back foot. And if Ortiz could do that, we could possibly see a very, very intriguing fight. But
bruh,
I doubt.
Gerald Washington, I gotta go back and rescore it to like say that this sentence is, edged in stone, but most people believe Wilder lost the first 4 rounds.
Yeah.
in this Ortiz fight, first 4 rounds was pretty slow. You got to jump on him. He's a paced, patient fighter. He's looking for the shot. It just so happened with Brazil and Brazil and Bermain, the shot came early, but he's looking for the shot. He doesn't waste punches, so it's up to Ortiz. Plus, that's the other thing. Wilder knows what he has. So he ain't in no rush. It's going to come. For him, he don't give a fuck. He believes that like he believes he's going to wake up every day. That is going to come. That's what the whole I only need to be perfect for 1 second. You got to be perfect 12 rounds come from. It's going to come. So that's why he's patient. That's why you could call him a slow starter. You could say whatever you want. It's because he knows once I tap you, you more than likely going to be disoriented, dazed, or you fell. Or you knocked out. You know what I mean? So he's doing it his way. That being said, why the freak is Wilder taking this risk when you got Tyson Fury for Tom Schwartz and Oda Wallin? Now, what this article does tell us is that this was agreed upon. So, obviously, top-ranking Tyson Fury wanted 2 fights before the Wilder fight. Wilder agreed to that, but Wilder chose his mandatory and Luis Ortiz as his 2, which, like you noted, doesn't help him prepare for Tyson Fury, but Tyson Fury chose Tom Schwartz and Oda Wallin for his 2. So why do you think Wilder's taking this risk?
I just think that Ortiz was promised a Wilder rematch when he turned down that AJ money. And Wilder, you know what I'm saying, said he wanted to take care of some controversies that happened this past year, starting with Ortiz and then with Fury. So I just think that Al Heyman, like he always does, gets his guys their title shots and get them their shots at the title, and that's what he did for Ortiz. And he telling Wilder, you get past Ortiz, I got an even bigger payday for you as soon as you step in the ring with Fury. So I think it's just part of Al Heyman master plan. They got Ortiz his spotlight in his moment to try to become champion again. Without Al Heyman, I gotta admit, I don't know what Ortiz would be right now. He was with Matchroom, didn't get a title shot. But with HBO, didn't get a
Golden
title
Boy,
shot.
no title shot.
Golden Boy, no title shot. And now with Al Heyman, he got 2 title shots within the last year and a half. So big ups to Al, man, doing it again for another fighter.
Yes, sir. I have a slightly different reason. I don't think that he's doing it because of Al. I think that it's pretty safe to say that Tyson Fury didn't receive a 8-figure guarantee for Oda Wallin or Tom Schwartz. I think that's why Wilder's doing it. I think that the Dominic Brazil fight was a mandatory that got the price cap got like quadrupled because of Dazn. So Showtime matched. So once you jump up that high, you ain't trying to go backwards. So they was like, look, the only way we could do it is a pay-per-view worthy fight. All right, give me Ortiz on pay-per-view. Because that's the difference. We can't act like Wallin and Ortiz are the same when one is at least attempting a pay-per-view and the other was scoffed and laughed at in the boxing community. Shout out to Wallin. They put on a better performance. And Joey Gamache made a name for themselves off that fight. But that's also the dangers that Wilder's taking on Lewis before the Fury fight. But I think that his reasons were financial, man. I mean, it's obvious. You just said an 8-figure guarantee versus going in there with some Mickey Mouse fighter and getting a bullshit check.
I mean, they say Fury got double-digit figures for that Wallin fight and for the sports fight. I think it was in the Nevada State Commission too. But I think Fury made double digits for both of them fights.
Bruh, Google that shit, man.
I will.
How the fuck is he making $10 million for Wallin?
Yeah,
Bruh, Wilder, if that's, man, listen. You better go tell Shelly, go see what's up with that ESPN contract again. What they offering this year, You kidding me? You tell me I could fight tune-ups for $10 million? Nah, Mike, no way. I mean, I'm sure Mike don't. And he probably right. That's all I know, because he rarely say shit. But that's crazy.
Yeah, man. Metro UK. That's the 12 million. But let me go to a credible source. The Sun. The Sun is reporting 12 million for that fight.
For the Wallin.
Yeah, let me go to Daily Express.
That's crazy. I don't know. Some people don't fuck with the Sun, but wow. I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire. So I hear you, man. I hear you.
Yeah, he pocketed 12 million for his second round demolition job of Swartz. So he got 12 million for Swartz, and he got let me see how much he got for Wallin. Like 10. Yeah, dude, we've been out here getting money, bro, for these fights. Yep. You got 12 million for like a Wallin too, so you been getting money, bro.
That's insane, bro. That's insane, bro. Like you need, like if that's true, sheesh, we need to be talking about something. No.
I mean, now.
Hey man, what does Ortiz need to do differently in the rematch? I think we already kind of covered that, man. For me, start faster, throw more punches.
Now I'm saying he got paid guaranteed $1 million for the fight.
Okay. I know Top Rank ain't stupid. Look, Bob ain't been a lawyer that long for nothing. Shit.
I don't know, bro. But yeah, I heard a rumor that he got paid more than that. But yeah. $1 million.
Yeah, man. I'm about to say, bro, like what? Where they getting it from?
Somebody exposed it too and said Tyson Fury alleged $15 million purse in 8K attendance figures exposed.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, man. I forgot what we
differently. What does Ortiz need to do differently? I mean, I think we already touched on it. You know, start faster, throw more punches, push the pace, be the bully.
Yes, sir. And prediction for this fight? Do you want to give them now? Well, I think everybody pretty much know how we're leaning. I got Wilder by knockout. I'm looking at this fight as being a trap fight for Wilder. I know. It's he's looking towards that Fury fight. I know he said he doesn't look past opponents; he looks through them. But you got to admit, man, even though Ortiz is old and didn't look great against Hammer or Kaufman, he is a dangerous southpaw. He is a damn veteran Cuban boxer, so he is a legitimate threat. But I just think that the trajectory Wilder's been on the past year and a half, I think he's going to steamroll Ortiz.
Dan, they ripping you for believing he could have made 12 mil versus him. Yo,
hey, bro, I'm just reading stories. Like I see shit on the internet, and I see more than one publication said that he earned 12 million. So when you start digging, then you start finding like the little details and facts and shit. But the Sun and the Daily Mail said that he made 12 million.
So super chat from T Plums. If Fury made all that, Bud need to get the fuck off Top Rank.
Oh, my God.
Scat Ranks with another super chat says Brits lie about purses.
Everybody lie about purses, you know what I'm saying? Let the WBC tell it.
That is true. WBC said they lying. They don't want to give them their 3%. So, Mike, who wins and why?
Wilder wins by the demolition job. He's the fresher, younger, harder hitting fighter. Has the range, has the reach, has the height advantage, and I just think we'll see more of what we've seen last time. And I really think that if that bell winning came out in the fourth round in the first fight, then we would have seen a short night from King Kong. And I really think that it will be a short night, like not like the Brazil fight, but I don't think that he'll go more than 5 or 6 rounds this time.
Yeah, man, Wilder all day to this day. Too big, too strong, man. Too confident. too much will to win. You know what I mean? That's just it, bro. It's just it. Look, Ortiz has the fact that he's a southpaw at his advantage, and Wilder has the fact that he's an orthodox fighter at his advantage. So both their power shots line right up. But there's more advantages, in my opinion, for Deontay Wilder. We got a super chat from Scat Rants who says Fury got $1 million for Wilding, according to Nevada State Athletic Commission. All right, so that is it. We want to open up these phone lines, and we want to do things a little bit different. We want to ask you these same questions. So, first one up is what's at stake for Wilder? What's next if he wins? Same for Ortiz. How will Wilder approach the rematch? Why is he taking the risk? What does Ortiz need to do differently in the rematch? And who wins y por qué? You know the number to call in. It's 1-425-569-5241. You could also add Nestor Gibbs on Skype to be part of the conversation. And, man, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. It helps with the visibility of the show, helps us grow, puts this show in front of the eyes of other boxing fans, and hopefully gets us new callers and new listeners, courtesy of you.
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
Going out to Plainview, Texas, Mastermind.
BoxingWords.com.
Oloki, you are next, my friend. Por eso lo vuelvo a repetir. La era del Canelo la mejor porque peleó con los mejores. La suerte es para los mediocres, my friend.
BoxingWords.com.
What up, TBV? Good morning, Nestor. Good morning, Mike. What's happening, fellas?
What up? So let's do things a little bit differently. First question is, what is at stake for Wilder?
What's at stake for Wilder? For me, obviously, is the big payday with Fury, the unification. And also, I think it'll set up, for me, depending on if he wins, which I think he is, and how he wins, will help me decide even more who I'm favoring in the rematch with Fury.
What's next if he wins? What's next if he wins?
If Wilder wins?
Yep.
Oh, it's the Fury fight. That's the biggest. I think that right now that's bigger than any other fight he can do right now.
How does Wilder approach the rematch?
I think he needs to, use that jab more. Keep Ortiz at the end of the jab. Make it look cleaner. Make it look effective. Because traditionally the boxer does better, but we've never seen a puncher like Wilder. So this could set the tone for what's to come in February.
Why is Wilder taking the risk of this fight?
It's plain and simple because he's not like any other fight. Look, I mean, at the end of the day, I thought it was a bad idea because he's taking another tough fight before Fury, just like last time with the same guy. Fury took some no-name soft touches. So Fury, in theory, would be fresher. Wilder coming off a tough fight. They're going right back in the camp in February. But he's a true champion, and he wants to correct his controversy. So, it's what American fighters do. You know what I mean? We clear up the controversy.
What does Ortiz need to do differently in the rematch?
Stay patient, and I agree with you said. If he gets Wilder hurt, you got to throw more punches, maybe throw some more body shots in there. Let it all hang out, though. At the end of the day, this is probably the last shot for Ortiz.
All right, and who wins and why?
I want to say Wilder, 6-round KO.
All right, Super Megs, Boomerang back in. Let me get to some others. We got CYP. Boomerang.
Sicily. Go ahead.
What's at stake for Wilder?
Dinner's at stake for Wilder. Dinner is at stake for Wilder, with nice little side orders. And I just hope that Ortiz pays Larry Wade like he's supposed to. Go ahead. Next question.
What's next if he wins?
Oh, domination. Domination. Keeping it plain and simple. What's next?
What's at stake for Ortiz?
Oh man, it's way more at stake for Ortiz. Ortiz hasn't. I mean, retirement. Because at the end of the day, I don't like the way his career went. The man was ducked, you know, by a man who gave his word. He ducked him. He was ducked by Eddie Hearn when he signed with Matchroom. I feel bad for the dude. I think that he should thank Wilder for giving an opportunity to not have his career be wasted. But at the end of the day, ain't nobody beating Wilder. You know, I appreciate the fact that Ortiz is willing to step up in there. But in all honesty, man, retirement.
What could be next if he was to win?
Ortiz, a rematch. A rematch.
How will Wilder approach the rematch?
The same way he approaches every fight. Confident. Thinking he's going to win, knowing he's going to win, thinking, believing it, receiving it. Same shit, different toilet.
What does Ortiz need to do differently in the rematch?
What he needs to do differently in this rematch is probably throwing the towel a little earlier, so that way he don't get embarrassed or decapitated. Next question.
Who wins and why?
Okay, let's be honest here. The only person who wins is Wilder, and I know y'all upset that this fight is happening. Y'all say Ortiz didn't look good his last fight, so this shouldn't be happening. End of the day, Vladimir Klitschko didn't look good against Fury. Thurman didn't look good against Vargas. So let's stop the bullshit. Fights happen because of the names, and y'all gonna watch anyway, and y'all know what's gonna happen, like y'all knew it was gonna happen with all the rest of the shit. Game over.
But CYP, it's not just he didn't look good against Hammer. He didn't really look good against Kaufman either. The fight right before that, and he fought Rajvan Kajanu, a guy who everybody knocks out. So
I mean Dubois knocked him out too.
Look good. Did Vladimir Klitschko look good against Fury? No, he didn't. But AJ still fought him.
I'm not debating that. All I'm saying it was a string of fights where he wasn't looking good in.
You know what I'm saying? What I'm telling you is it doesn't matter because everybody else got a pass for the shit. So don't go point it out against Wilder. That's that dumb shit. We always do that.
Anybody a pass, not giving anybody a pass. What I'm simply saying
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back in time and see if y'all got a show where y'all asking these questions about AJ or you asking these questions about Thurman. I wanna hear that show. Because I'm sick of this shit. Like y'all always seem to find out little bitty shit to say about Wilder that y'all.
This guy right here.
We're going to Troy Boomerang. Troy, what up?
What's going on, Troy?
Yes, sir.
So, what's at stake for Wilder?
What's at stake for Wilder? Just a win. A loss, I mean, a loss just makes his life a little bit more. If he loses, then guess what? That's actually not a bad thing for him. That builds interest. It's a bad thing because he lost, but it makes his life a little bit more interesting.
What's next if he wins?
That's a good question. Don't know. It all depends on the fight with Joshua and Ruiz.
What's at stake for Ortiz?
Either standing in the same position or becoming heavyweight champion.
What could be next if he wins?
Who are we talking about now? Ortiz?
Ortiz.
Yeah, if he wins, then he becomes the oldest heavyweight champion in history.
But what's next if he wins?
I just said that he becomes the oldest heavyweight champion in history.
How does Wilder approach the rematch?
He approaches it like this is another fight. I win, I move on.
Why is he taking this risk?
Is it really a risk? I mean, to be very honest with you, because this is the truth about boxers. If a boxer tells you he's 24, add 4 years to his age. Okay? So Ortiz is closer to 50 than he is to 40. So is it really a risk to fight someone that you knocked out already?
What does Ortiz need to do differently in the rematch?
Stamina. He needs to just he needs to stay closer to Wilder and take away that one thing that Wilder has, is that right hand. Take it away from him. Just stay close to him, take it away from him.
Who wins and why?
Wilder's going to win because Wilder's a fresher, younger man. Ortiz, for all his skill, Father Time has never lost to anyone.
All right. Well, I'll be back with your boomerang. Donald, Richmond, California. What's at stake for Wilder?
Oh, there's a lot at stake. He's going in the ring against a man who had him out on his feet in the 7th round. I mean, this is a dangerous opponent. He's a dangerous southpaw. You know, I respect and admire Wilder because that man is. Well, I watched Face to Face, and I was listening to what Wilder said, and Wilder said, "Oh man, when I got in the ring with him, he said it was like as soon as I threw something at him, it was like wow, I got immediate reaction. You know, I got something come right back at me. You know." And he's like, you know, this guy is a great counterpuncher. And one thing I want to say to correct the last caller, if Ortiz wins, he will not be the oldest heavyweight champion in history. I would believe that George Foreman was, and I think when George Foreman won the heavyweight championship, I think Foreman was about 43 or 44. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Foreman was in his 40s. He's not in his 30s anymore.
Yeah. Foreman took out like 10 years and came back and won the belt.
Yep.
Foreman was like 43, 44, 45. But yeah, you know, like I said, I admire Wilder for he wants a challenge, and he said, man, when you're a heavyweight champion and you get in the ring, he said I want to get in the ring with someone challenging me. He was like, I want to get in the ring with a tough opponent. He says that's what a champion wants to put his belt on the line for. That's what a champion wants to get in the ring for, to fight someone who knows that he knows is dangerous. He knows that is a real threat and a real challenge.
Donald.
And that's pretty rare. We don't. Yeah.
What's next for him if he wins?
Nothing. He just moves on and moves forward and goes for the Fury fight. And I believe in the next Fury fight he does knock Fury out, because I feel like at this point Fury is scared. I don't think Fury really wants to match with him. So that's an up on Wilder. We all know that Fury was out. That fight should have been stopped in the 12th round. Wilder should have won that by a 12th round knockout. But he didn't, so now he has the opportunity to go back to do it.
What's at stake for Ortiz?
You say what?
What is at stake for Ortiz?
Everything is at stake. Wilder is the only one who's been willing to give Ortiz a heavyweight title fight, due to the fact that Wilder knows Ortiz is a dangerous opponent and a really big threat and a challenge, which is the same reason why nobody else gives this man a chance, you know? So, I mean...
what would be next for Ortiz if he wins?
That for the next thing for Ortiz, if he wins, that means that he'd get the rematch with Wilder, and that would his rematch with Wilder would probably be his highest career payday. And with that being said, he can get his career highest payday with a rematch for Wilder. And if he does beat Wilder, I'm pretty sure Wilder would beat him in the next one after that. And then I think from there, Ortiz would probably retire because he'd really be financially stable to do it at that point. That's what I think.
How will Wilder approach the rematch?
Very more cautious. He knows what he's dealing with now. He knows that this man is throwing something back immediately. You know, so he knows.
Cut it.
Donald ain't even let me get through the questionnaire on his ass. We got Josh in New Orleans.
What up, Josh?
Morning.
What's at stake for the champ if he loses?
What's at stake for the champ? Nothing. A little sputiny. A lot of people coming out trolling, saying he lost to an old guy, but he'll bounce back in a rematch.
What's next if he wins?
Tyson Fury, if he definitely step up to the plate, or he don't let his pops or his wife keep him out of the ring, talking about they're afraid for him to fight Wilder again.
What's at stake for Ortiz?
Unfortunately, Ortiz has had a dealt the bad hand in boxing. Normally, a guy as skilled as him, he should have had more opportunities to fight different people, but nobody wanted to fight him. They came up with a bunch of excuses. But so when he loses to Wilder, that's probably gonna be it, because nobody ain't gonna give him a chance.
All right. How will Wilder approach the rematch?
Wilder will definitely approach it similar to the Bermain Severn second fight. Not saying Luis Ortiz is Severn, because he's definitely a better boxer. I'm just saying with the confidence, the attitude, that approach, that mentality he had. That's how he's gonna approach the second fight.
Why is he taking his risks?
Because Luis Ortiz, like I've been saying for years, and people used to think I was crazy, was one of the only heavyweights I saw that gave Wilder problems, because I knew he was an elite boxer, elite counter puncher, and Wilder knew that in that first fight, so that's why he wanted to fight the dude again. Plus that relationship they had with the daughters and all that type of stuff.
What does Ortiz have to do differently in the rematch?
Luis Ortiz needs to stay. I know he's not an active fighter, but he gotta use his jab, he gotta use his feints, he gotta use his counter punching ability to the highest level. Hopefully, Wade picking up Wade brings that up, and he could do a little more. But he gonna have to control it with that range and that distance.
Who wins and why?
Wilder definitely wins this fight without a shadow of doubt, because I do believe, with him picking up more weight from what I understand, and his confidence, and once he learned how to beat you the first time, that punch that he possessed is like it plays on your mind as a medieval, and nobody won't get touched with it again. So naturally the boxer becomes more cautious. So that works in Wilder's corner.
All right. Well, Josh, man, thanks for calling in. We gonna get it moving to some other callers.
BoxingVoice.com.
You invited him to the ring? Why?
Yo lo invité a que subiera. Como decimos en México, hay que dejarnos de mamadas. ¡Viva México!
And like we say in Mexico, we don't fuck around. BoxingVoice.com.
And what's at stake
what
for
up?
Wilder?
Undisputed and a Fury rematch. If he loses, he's gonna have to probably rematch Ortiz, because there's definitely a rematch clause in this.
What's next if he wins?
Fury. We already know what's next. It's Fury, unless Andy can get in and they can somehow negotiate some step aside and get an undisputed fight.
What's at stake for Ortiz?
His career. I'm pretty sure if you lose to Wilder twice and get knocked out twice, I'm pretty sure you're done, because like the last caller said, you probably won't get a chance from anybody else. And you'll probably be thinking, man, maybe I should have taken the AJ fight, and you would have gotten 3 chances at getting a belt. But, if he gets knocked out again, he might be done.
Or somebody champion might see him getting knocked out and say, yeah, I give him a shot. Fuck it. He's been knocked out twice already.
I mean, I don't see why Frank Warren wouldn't send him some money for Dubois, but what's next if he wins?
If Ortiz wins?
Yes, sir.
If Ortiz wins, he goes on as a champion. He might try to get himself some good fights. Maybe a Wilder rematch, get that trilogy going, or maybe try to go for undisputed himself, or just defend the WBC.
How will Wilder approach the rematch?
Wilder should approach this rematch more cautiously. I know he's always trying to look for that one shot, because he only needs the one shot, but he needs to take his time and keep Ortiz at distance. That way he can land that one shot earlier.
Why is he taking his risks?
Because it's a great way to make money and to keep people entertained. He's beat Ortiz before, so he's confident he could probably beat him again sooner, like the same way with Severn.
What does Ortiz need to do differently in the rematch?
Survive and get inside of Wilder's reach.
Who wins and why?
Deontay Wilder, I want to say he knocks him out in 10. This fight will go pretty longer, because Luis Ortiz does look like he's in pretty good shape.
Matt, thanks for calling in. We're going out to Boomerang. Where you at?
Mr. PBC.
Mr. PBC, baby.
BoxingVoice.com.
I'm the flyest. Canelo talking about he believe he can win. Go to my kitchen. Get the sharpest knife and cut the bullshit out. I don't care what you do good. I do every fucking thing great.
Mr. PBC, baby.
Dominic.
Yo, what's good?
What's
Hey,
up?
my bad, man. I'm at work, so it's hard to really stay on the phone all day.
So
You guys did take a while to get on my phone.
Are you gonna be able to stay on now?
Question. Yeah, I can stay on.
So then you ready?
Yep.
So what's at stake for the champ?
Nothing. He's gonna win easy. He's gonna get it in. Ortiz looks hella old. He looks like a gorilla. I don't think he's ready. I mean, he's never been pushed to the limit. No one ever tested Ortiz. Deontay Wilder just got out of a test with Tyson Fury.
My nigga, if you weren't black,
So
I'd be so mad right now. But you black, so I can't say shit.
Nah, man, let's keep it real. Next question.
What's next if he wins?
And Luis. And Luis is going to beat Anthony Joshua. And Luis is the ultimate problem for tall people. We don't like people in our bubble and moving that fast. He causes too much pressure. Deontay Wilder has problems with pressure. Ortiz, Tyson Fury, all tall people have problems with pressure. Especially someone who can get underneath your reach.
What's at
stay
stake?
Underneath your reach.
What's at stake for Ortiz?
Just a retirement plan, really. I think he should make one and get a good doctor because he's going to be having brain damage after this fight. Real talk. No one at 40 has really fought someone like Deontay Wilder, and we don't even know how old this dude is. So,
what could be next if he wins?
If Ortiz wins?
Yes, sir.
I really ain't going to speak that into existence. He's going to lose. I'm a Deontay Wilder fan, PBC fan, man, to life. You Canelo fan, you ain't going to talk shit about him. Next question.
How will Wilder approach the rematch?
Like he always. He's going to have to sell the fight. Luis Ortiz barely speaks a lick of English. He's going to have to sell the fight. Ortiz is going to sit there and just smile and have his interpreter.
Why do you think he's taking his risks?
To prove something to somebody. I don't know. I really don't understand it, truthfully. But he has an ego that's bigger than anybody. And that probably is going to be his downfall in his later years.
What does Ortiz need to do differently in the rematch?
Figure out a way to lose. Truthfully, he's going to lose. There's nothing he can do differently. He's going to slow down.
Who wins and why?
Deontay Wilder, third round. Luis Ortiz is going to figure out that he can't withstand that power at that age, and he hasn't prepared himself for Deontay Wilder. The last fights he had were against sea-level fighters, can-level fighters, tuna-level fighters, protein meal diet. He's not ready for Deontay. He's going to fall. He's going to be another highlight just like Dominic Brazil. And usually when people talk a lot of shit to Deontay Wilder, he usually makes a highlight reel.
Well, all right, Dominic, Seattle. We're going out to Steve. Talk to me. Just listening, Steve?
Oh, go ahead. I'm here.
All right. So what's at stake for the champ?
Well, at stake is probably his undisputed, his goal of being undisputed.
And what would be next if he wins?
I think he's going to wait and see if Ruiz wins. If Ruiz wins, that's his next fight. I don't think he's going to fool around with Fury. I already told you guys, I don't think Fury's going to fight him, but we'll see.
How will Wilder approach the rematch?
Wilder's going to approach this rematch probably in the same way like he did Brazil.
Why is he taking his risks?
I don't think he's looking at it as a risk. I think he looks at it as he's just giving Ortiz the opportunity to fight him.
So what does Ortiz do differently in the rematch?
Ortiz, I mean, he should probably try to fight on the inside and stay away from the right hand, but that's easier done than said. So that's what he'll try, but he's not going to be successful.
All right. So who wins and why?
I got Wilder, probably round 3, knockout.
Steve, thanks for calling in. That's a record, 145. He did that quick. Minute and 45. That was fast. We got Rock. Talk to me.
Rock steady. What's the business?
What's happening?
What's
Y'all can
happening,
hear me?
champ?
We good?
Yes, sir. What's at stake for Wilder if he loses?
Criticism. I mean, we've heard it time and time again, like, Deontay isn't a good fighter. He's not technically sound. He's this, he's that. Just the same way the same way. Honestly, it'll be worse than when AJ lost to Ruiz, in my opinion. Because everybody's always at Deontay Wilder's head. So I think if nothing else, criticism. And, obviously he'll get the rematch with Ortiz, but I think this will give boxing fans, the ones who hate Deontay, the ammo they need to denounce him and all the other crazy stuff. It'll build up for a good trilogy, though. So that's my opinion.
What's next if he wins?
I think you wait and see how AJ and Ruiz plays out. Ruiz is right there at PBC. We unify. I just don't see how they make the Tyson Fury deal work, but honestly, I don't know. If it's not the Ruiz fight, I don't know what else actually makes sense for him at this point. Fury does make sense, but, it's like how realistically do you make that fight? Fury's talking about he won't fight MMA and all this other dumb shit, so I don't know, bro.
What's at stake for Ortiz?
He's a champ, but he got to see Deontay again. Not what's next. What's at stake? Nothing. This is his last shot, I think, at a legitimate title shot. I think, like somebody said earlier, if Daniel Dubois, somebody just year or two, whatever, down the road gets a title shot, and you just looking for a warm-up of what may be perceived as a tomato can at that point, then somebody will throw him some money. But I think this is his real last shot to make some big pay-per-view money and actually develop himself as a star, as somewhat of a star in the sport.
How will Wilder approach the rematch?
The first fight, and I'm a big Deontay fan, the first fight I actually had him down before he got the knockout, simply because I felt like Ortiz outboxed him. I don't think he was necessarily prepared for the counters. So if he can keep his distance, use that length, use his athleticism, stay on the outside, and stay away from the counters and pick them off shot by shot, I think that's probably the best way to approach it.
Why is Wilder taking his risks?
Because almost 80% of his resume is trash, and that's not his fault. It's not his fault, but it's just trash. So I don't think he's going to.
At least you only missed one. What was the next one for him? Oh, no, he missed 2. What does Ortiz do differently in the rematch? Who wins and why? We going to T Plums. Talk to me.
What up, T Plums? Not from the UK.
From Florida, South Florida.
T Plums in the Sunshine State. What's at stake for Wilder?
Yes, sir. At stake for Wilder, like the last caller said, criticism. Basically the same thing AJ going through right now.
What's next if he wins?
If he wins, either Fury or Ruiz.
What's at stake for Ortiz?
His health, his life. I mean, honestly think losing, getting knocked out twice is the push that all the other heavyweights need to fight Ortiz, because they don't want to fight him now. So, and then him having the belt is also a push for them to fight him. So I think, honestly, this is a win-win for Ortiz if he leaves with all his faculties in place.
And if he wins?
Damn,
you breaking up, T? You driving over there?
Doesn't lose. Then I don't know. He might.
You in your house?
I don't know what to say for him.
You sound like we can't hear you. T Plums out. All right, we'll be back. We'll be back and try you again, T Plums. We're going out to UK. Big Nick, talk to me.
Yo, what's up, Nes? What's going on, TBV?
What's up, Big Nick? What's at stake for Wilder if he loses?
Undisputed, I guess. Undisputed and the Fury fight. But to be honest, I don't see Wilder losing this. So, yeah, I mean, momentum. That's the only thing I can think of, man. The momentum in that. But yeah, that's it.
So what's next if he wins?
Gotta be. The thing is, depends on the Ruiz AJ fight. I think AJ wins that, not just because I'm a fanboy, but I genuinely think he wins that. So it's got to be the Fury fight.
All right. What's at stake for Ortiz?
Oh God. The truth is, I just don't see Ortiz winning it, man. I just don't think he's got a shot. Sorry.
So what's at stake for him?
The thing is, there's not really anywhere for him to go, because if he wins, at the end of the day, like, where is he going to go? He's not really going to make... He may try and make the undisputed fight, but I think at this stage of his career, he's just fighting for money now anyway, so...
All right, so how does Wilder approach the rematch?
I think Wilder... He's got to try and get him out there early. I think so. I think he will try and get him out there early, but the longer the fight goes on, the less chance Ortiz has of winning. Do you know what I mean? If Wilder wants to ensure the win, as long as it goes more than 7 rounds, Wilder is definitely winning. Ortiz at 75 years of age, he's not winning it late. He's not going to win it late. So the longer it goes on, it's Wilder's, isn't it?
Why is Wilder taking the risk of this fight?
I guess, to be honest, I would say it's a stay busy fight. He doesn't need this, but it's a stay busy fight. I think, really and truly, if Wilder really wanted to, be the number one in the division, I think he would have gone for either Ruiz or the winner, Ruiz or AJ, or he could have gone for Fury. But he don't need this fight. Makes him money, though, isn't it?
I mean, he can't go for any of those guys, right? Like, that's the whole reason we're here. Fury asks for 2 fights. Ruiz is in a rematch. But what does Ortiz need to do differently in the rematch?
The only shot I give Ruiz is to stay on Wilder's chest and try and get in there early. Push Wilder early, because Wilder is a notoriously slow starter. The longer the fight goes on, the less chance, like I said before, yeah? And not only that, if Ortiz stays on the end of Wilder's jab, it's just a matter of time, innit? So for me, Ortiz has to get on Wilder's chest, get in there, and just basically look to put the pressure on, early, and then see what happens. You know what I mean? He's got a puncher's chance, but other than that, I'll give him no chance, to be honest.
Who wins and why?
Wilder.
Big Nick, UK, stand up. We got Jerron in Louisiana. What's up?
What up, Jerron?
What up?
Turn your radio down just a little bit.
We're going to come right back to you, champ. We're going to come right back to you. Get that radio together. We're going to go out to Boomerang in Canada.
Popping
Popping all this champagne, popping all this rosé, getting money like Jose, chain code Norway. Shorty want that full play. I'm like, no way. Gotta rock it like Coldplay, killing it. OJ, getting cheese like Green Bay. Call me
Jose.
Good morning, boys.
Good morning. What's at stake for Wilder if he loses?
To be honest, just a couple of bucks. Like whether he wins or loses, I mean, doesn't really make that big of a difference, to be honest.
So what's next if he wins?
The match with it's got to be with Fury, right? Fury or maybe the winner of Anthony Joshua versus Ruiz.
What's at stake for Ortiz?
Just money again. If he wins, he'll have to do the rematch, right? I mean, there's no other real option for him. He's not a superstar, so it just is what it is.
All right. Well, you already answered what's next, right? What's next for Ortiz?
Sorry, what's next for Ortiz? Like I said, I just the rematch with Joshua. I mean, the rematch with Wilder if he wins.
How will Wilder approach the rematch?
I think with absolute caution, man. Like I think this is the most dangerous. This is a dangerous fight, man. So hopefully with caution and hopefully with respect to his opponent, you know.
Why is Wilder taking the risk of this fight?
See, that's the answer. I have no clue, man. This is the most dangerous fight right now for him to take. I think this absolutely legitimizes Deontay Wilder's resume as the strongest resume in the heavyweight division. You know, this guy is truly the boogeyman. You know, he has nothing to win and everything to lose, right? So I don't know why he's taking it, to be honest. I think it's to prove to us, like the true boxing fans, that he's great, maybe, to prove to himself. Other than that, it's just a bad decision.
What does Ortiz have to do differently in the rematch?
Nothing, man. If Ortiz fights the exact same way he did last time, then he's got a great chance of winning.
Who wins and why?
I'm hoping it's Wilder, man. But deep down inside, I said this a while back, man. I think Ortiz is the best fighter at the heavyweight division. So I want Wilder to win, but I think it'll be Ortiz, man. And I don't think it'll be a shock.
Well, all right, Jose. Be back with your boomerang in just a bit. Jerron, talk to us.
Yeah.
What's going on, champ? What's at stake for Wilder if he loses?
Well, his path to unification is going to take a little longer because he's going to have to get his belt back.
Definitely. So the next one is, what's next if he wins?
Well, if he wins, Fury and then unification.
All right. And what's at stake for Ortiz?
Well, a chance to shock the world and I guess a chance to rejuvenate the end of his career and make a little bit of a name for himself before he retires.
And what's next if he wins?
A rematch with Wilder, or maybe fighting the winner of the AJ Ruiz fight.
And how will Wilder approach the rematch, in your opinion?
The same way he approached Brazil and Stavern. I think he's going to want to get him out there early to prove he's a better fighter and to dispel any of the controversy from the first fight.
Why do you think Wilder's taking a risk of this fight?
Like I said before, to dispel the controversy from the first fight and to prove and to show he's a better fighter now and that he's getting better and getting stronger and improving every fight.
All right. And what does Ortiz need to do differently in the rematch?
You got to be aggressive and go to the body. You got to do it smart because if he doesn't, then he, 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 he,
And who wins and why?
Wilder, because I feel like, again, I feel like right now he's on a redemption tour. He wants to dispel any controversy with this, and then he's probably going to do the same thing to Fury and get Fury out of there early, just to prove that that late knockout wasn't a fluke. And I think he really is on the road. He wants to be one name, one face, and be the undisputed heavyweight champion. And he's going to want to show that that's where he's headed with the early knockout in this fight.
Well, Jerron, man, thanks for calling in. We're going to Brandon in Cincinnati. What up?
What up, B?
What up, Ness? What up, Mike? Top of the morning to you, gentlemen.
What up, man? So what's at stake for the champ if he loses?
Well, main thing is, negotiating leverage when it comes to that undisputed fight. He wants 50-50. If he loses, that puts a damper on that 50-50. So that's the biggest thing, that money, that negotiating leverage.
What's next if he wins?
Right now, wrong with Fury, man. Unbiased boxing fan like me, I thought he shit the bed against Fury and lost that fight. 65% of the people thought he lost that fight, so he can right that wrong and go in there and do that one again.
And what's at stake for Ortiz?
The same, risk of not being able to get another big payday. Nobody's beating down their door to fight Ortiz. This is, the biggest paydays he's been getting. He's going to have to take a risk to, get, peanut money to fight a guy like Dubois. High risk, low reward fight. That'd be his only hope if he loses.
And if he wins?
Or he get that trilogy, baby, and then he can, possibly get, 50-50 on the trilogy. So he can get more money on that trilogy. He can probably get 50-50. So, better deal on the trilogy because he got the belt.
How will Wilder approach the rematch?
More confidence, a little faster pace. You've tasted his best shot. You can take it. And he probably can't take your best shot. So he's looking to get him out of there and put on the show. So I think he's going to be a little more faster paced and look to get him out of there faster. He was more cautious because he was a little worried about the power, going in there the first time. So I think he's going to come in there a little more confident, a little more aggressive.
Why is he taking his risks?
Well, one, he has balls. Got to respect the man's heart. And for two, he's got confidence that he can knock him out. He's done it before. Left the man face down, ass up, like my wife on payday. I mean, why would you be afraid? You knocked him out once. What makes you think you can't do it again? So, like I said, just confidence from that first fight.
What does Ortiz need to do differently?
He could really do the same thing he was doing. Keep the fight at a slower pace, jab, counter punch. Just hold this time. When you feel like you're getting hurt, just hold on. Jab and hold. Jab and hold. Take a page out of that Devin Alexander book. When you get in close, hold.
Who wins and why?
I got Deontay Wilder within 6. Like I said, I just think he's going to be a little more confident. He's tasted Ortiz's power. He know he can handle it. I think he wants to put on the show, get him out of there. So I got Wilder winning in 6 to 8 rounds. I think Ortiz is gonna last a little longer than like people saying like 3 or 4 because he does look like he's gonna be in good condition. He is a great boxer. So I got it going about 6 to 8 rounds. Wilder knockout.
Brandon, thanks for calling in. We going out to Joseph. Talk to me. Joseph Brown.
Hello?
What up, Joseph?
What's happening?
What up, champ? So what's
man,
at stake for
like-
Wilder?
What's at stake for Wilder is him being able to fight Fury next, and the road to undisputed could be derailed if he loses this fight.
And
but it will be a rematch.
What's next if he wins?
What's next if he wins? Fury, but we know Fury's a WWE wrestler, so that fight might not happen just because Fury is occupied with MMA and wrestling. So, but yeah, I think that that fight will be next because it's contracted to be next.
All right. So what's at stake for Ortiz?
to be the first Cuban heavyweight champion in history. That's what's at stake for Ortiz. This might be his last shot to do that.
And what's next for him if he wins?
Another fight with Wilder, because it's going to be a rematch clause, and that fight's going to get ran back, and a bigger payday for him. So that's a good look.
All right, and how will Wilder approach the rematch?
Wilder is going to use his jab, going to use a lot more footwork. He's going to keep Ortiz more at bay, and he's going to use a lot more tools in his tool bag that a lot of people say he doesn't have, but mainly that jab is what's going to make the fight a lot easier for him.
All right, and why is he taking the risk of this fight?
Well, Ness, you a Wilder fan, so you know him. You know him pretty well. You know this is just who he is, man. This guy has always been this way. He always wants to prove everybody wrong. He's always wants to prove that he's the top dog and he's fighting like a champion. You know, and I want to say this. A lot of people are saying that, why is he taking this risk? At some point, when you're a champion, you're supposed to fight the toughest guys. That's how you prove your legacy. So if he's not proving legacy by fighting the toughest competition, then what the hell is he doing? I mean, this is what we should be asking of all our fighters, not just Wilder.
What does Ortiz need to do differently in the rematch?
Ortiz
90 seconds.
Ortiz needs to get in the inside. He needs to use his jab. He needs to have a higher work rate. He needs to not wait on Wilder. He needs to press the action. He needs to get underneath Wilder's jab and try to counter and get in the inside and work to the body. He needs to get to Wilder's body to slow Wilder down so he could be more active and possibly score a knockout. I believe this is going to be fight of the year. I'm not like a lot of people thinking this is going to be a blowout. I think that Ortiz, the fact that he's got Sean Porter's strength and conditioning coach is going to pay dividends for him in this fight. It could be Hagler-Hearns type fight where you could see both guys getting hurt and then it ended in a knockout, but it's going to be fight of the year candidate. I believe this is going to be a really good fight.
Who wins and why?
Wilder wins by knockout. I say he knocks him out around the 6th or the 7th round.
Well, all right, Joseph, man, thanks for calling in. Boomerang, Troy in Baltimore.
What up, Troy?
Yes, sir. I'm back. Listen, I keep hearing two things that no one seems to answer the
10
question for.
seconds.
Right? If Wilder is such a risk taker, why Wilder started 5 years before Joshua? So why did he never fought White, Parker, Chisora, Hay, Klitschko, which he had an opportunity to? I mean, Ortiz is the only thing he could hang his hat on in a 12-year career, and he had a 5-year head start over Joshua. And he had 6 offers from Joshua, but he never took them. And Ortiz, everybody says he was ducked, but you had his people on your show, but they never named anybody who ducked him. They never said, well, we sent an offer to this one and that one and that one, and they all turned it down. They just say he is ducked. But who ducked him? Who? These are just simple questions like that. I mean, because because you can't be considered great until you beat the best in your era, and he has not done that. So I don't see where this man is a risk taker. I see him as a man doing his job, and I respect that, but I can't label him a risk taker, right? Just like he said he wanted one face and one title. You offered the shot 6 times. You turned it down. And if Ortiz is such a risk and all that, come on, we all know that man's closer to 50 than he is anything else. People lie about their age in this sport.
I wonder why Troy doesn't like Wilder that much, man. It's always mind-boggling.
Mm-hmm. CYP.
What the fuck is going
Boomerang.
Oh my goodness. Troy, I thought we were past this. Man, so we really ain't cool. because I realized I've explained to you what deals were in place, what fights were in place, and who came in, stepped in, and took more, and offered more money. We already went through the fact that yes, Finkel did say Wilder has just became champion in January. He needs let him defend his title a couple times, then he'll be ready for Vladimir. Literally 11 months after January, which is November, he did an interview with Forbes magazine. Look it up, where he challenged Vladimir Klitschko. Vladimir was in works to fight Fury. Nobody thought he would lose to Fury. Nobody thought that, but then he ended up losing to Fury, and you know what happened after that. But before Wilder got his shot with Stavern, Vladimir Klitschko was talking about fighting Stavern. He did not say he would fight the Stavern Wilder winner. He never wanted to fight Wilder because they're in the same camp, making the same money with Finkel. Y'all sit here and play them games like you don't know these things. You know Parker came to the fight. You know Charles Martin was in the works, but Eddie Hearn stepped in and offered them career high money, and they're not going to turn that down. Why turn down money? Period. Don't turn down money, period. Nobody's going to do that for their career. I don't know why y'all keep repeating it. We went over this the whole year. Stop repeating that. You already know the details. I didn't make this up, but I'm off that. Now, I'm gonna give y'all this. Dillian White was born in Jamaica. Adam Karnacki was born in Poland. Both of them moved to different countries. You're saying that Adam Karnacki's not an American boxer, but you're claiming Dillian White as a Brit boxer. Andy Ruiz was born in America. Y'all claiming him as a Mexican boxer. You want to take everything away from America just to take shadows away from our greatness. You cannot do that because
Jose Boomerang.
Yo, first of all, the guy that's claiming all these nationalities things, listen, the reason why Ruiz says he's Mexican is because the Latin heritage, man, is one that we're proud of, bro. You know, that's the reason why. When you're from a different country.
Nah, he's not saying Ruiz is saying he's not saying that. He's saying the UK.
He said Ruiz.
No, but he's talking about the UK fight fans say that Ruiz is Mexican, but technically he's Mexican American. He's making the point.
No, of course, he's Mexican American. Yeah, the British are a bunch of bums. We know that. They try to steal Lennox Lewis as their own. We know that the Brits are bums, and you know what? And now they're hurting because they have nothing, man. They have nothing. They have nobody right now. That's just the truth. Troy, you're a hater, man. Jeez Louise, you're such a hater, bro. Wilder is giving us a dangerous fight. He's amazing. We can't complain about what already happened, man. Jeez, man, you're like a negative Nancy. You can't complain about what's already done. Let's be happy now. This is an amazing matchup. It's truly a fight that we all want to see. Is it like him versus Joshua? No, but it's because Ruiz got in the way. So just be grateful, man. Right now, boxing is stacked, card after card after card after card, man. And there's still no way to please guys like him. So, Troy, it's Friday. Be happy or go to, go do what you need to do to be happy, bro. I won't even say what I was going to say. That's it. Peace.
Cut it, cut it, cut it, cut it.
Tony P.
Tony P.
What up, champ? So we asking, yeah, you're in. We asking questions here, man. What's at stake for Wilder if he loses to Ortiz?
In my opinion, just as man. I mean, as risky a fight as this is for Wilder, it's kind of a win-win because Ortiz is still a PBC guy. So, if he loses, it's just a trilogy, and it'll be another beautiful piece of boxing history, in my opinion.
What's next if he wins?
Fury. I mean, I think Fury. People say Fury's wrestling and UFC, but I think we see it. Rematch.
What's at stake for Ortiz if he loses?
Just his shot is. Actually, I'm not going to say his shot at another championship because if Ruiz wins, maybe we get Ruiz Ortiz. But just a loss for Ortiz. That's it.
What could be next if he wins?
Trilogy. They going straight back into the trilogy, and if he wins that, then he's the dude on the PBC side.
How would Wilder approach the rematch?
I expect more left hooks to line Ortiz up for the big right and more jabs from Wilder. I don't know if you noticed, or actually you were there, so I'm sure he mentioned it to you. The last 2 weeks of camp, he's going vegetarian. And the media that says he wanted to pack it all in, a lot of meat, get strong, and then lean out to be quicker. So I expect a faster and more aggressive Wilder.
Yeah, I seen him on his IG. He had some some vegan hot dogs or something like that.
Yeah, I think he wants to be more. Which is it? It's Thunder, right? You want to be Thunder. You want to be quicker and more speedy. So
You want to be lightning.
Lightning. I'm sorry, I mixed the two up. But yes,
Why is he taking a risk?
that's the question I wanted to answer the most. I want everyone to think about this. How many guys historically would fight a rematch against their highest risk, lowest reward opponent that they clearly knocked out? Wilder is a very, very special fighter, and I think everyone, even the haters, my man Troy or whatever his name is, need to really think about how special this dude is. We haven't seen someone like this for a while, and we might not see someone like this ever again.
Yeah, that guarantee a little bit more. If not low that more, it's a guarantee 8-figure payday.
For Ortiz?
No, he mean low reward for Ortiz.
No. He said for Wilder, like a low risk, hyper reward fight. Like this is no longer.
Yeah. I get what Mike's saying. Yeah, they giving him a lot of money for this. So it don't matter. You know, he making
but
money.
But do you? So if you guys were managing Wilder, you would take the 8 figures over fighting someone like.
Cut it.
If I'm managing Wilder, nigga, yeah, based on what I've seen from Ortiz his last couple of fights, you go ahead and get this old man up out this motherfucker, beat his ass, and get that 10
Yeah,
million.
man, that's that $8 million that they left on the floor with Chisora, and Chisora's still a safer fight than Luis Ortiz. So you know what I'm saying? Look, I don't know how hard it is to be a fighter. You know what I mean? We beg these dudes to fight 3 times a year, man. It must be hard because I went to camp and Wilder told me, man, that's it. I'm done. These camps hurting. Like, I got 6 more years. That's it. And then, you know, I pushed him until he said, well, you never know. I might be still fighting at 7. I'm like, okay, thanks, champ. You know? But right away, he was like, yeah, you see, that's the shit the fans want. But what about me? My body, man. These camps is a motherfucker.
My nigga Wilder changed his mind so quick. He's like, 6 more years, fuck, I might do 10. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't hear 10. I heard 7. But
I'm just over exaggerating. But yeah, I can totally see why these fighters only fight twice a year. Like, you know what I'm saying? For that little border wars shit, having to go to the gym, make sure you're eating the right things, make sure you're training and shit. Like, that shit is time consuming.
No, it's a full-time job.
It's difficult.
That's why you got to respect the Gabe Rosados of the world. Like, I know people look at him and they like, yo, he 2-12 in his last, or 12-2, whatever, you know what I mean? But yo, my man, he lost to Alfredo Angulo on ESPN Friday Night Fights while working at Home Depot. And that's what, you know, who was it? Tony P said, yo, look, Troy's a hater. Troy need to learn how special he is. And I'm not calling Troy a hater. I'm just repeating what he said. Because it's like, look, Gabe was at Home Depot. He lost. Wilder was in IHOP. He won.
But while the truck sleeping.
You know, y'all gotta like respect that. But whatever, man. That is all the callers and all the boomerangers. So I am your host, Nestor Gibbs, Instagram and Twitter at NestGTO. Catch us on Patreon for Beating the Odds.
Follow me on IG at Gross1911 or on Twitter at Gross2312 until y'all beating the odds on Patreon. See y'all there.
Peace.